Five mics, five minds. You tapped in live. It's that time. From the brain of Heather B. Built a squad, now they out that seat. Jada Rebel on the front line, talk back. UTR when they dig for the real facts. Double A, keep it blunt when he drop takes. Professor break it down like a class, no breaks. Meech come through, whole room lean in. 5 lanes, 1 table, let the show begin. Let's go. It's that UTR, talk your shit. 5 voices, 1 vibe, don't switch. Press play, lean back, feel it. If you came for the truth, that's it. It's that UTR, talk your shit. West Side Groove when the theme song hit. 5 chairs, 5 hearts, 1 pitch. If you came for the truth, that's it. Ay. You rockin' with Jada Rebel. Heather B on the vision. Double A the professor. Meet you in the building. UTR. Talk your shit. Stay tuned. Yeah.
And we are back again, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. UTR proudly presents Talk Yo Shit. Look at here, folks. We are so sorry that we are so late. These cable companies, they don't want us to be great at the end of the day. So with that being said, we just gonna get into it. We kind of late, but anyway, tonight's show is all about music. We're gonna have some a conversation about music at the end of the day. And normally I would swing it to the professor, but we gonna swing it to Heather B tonight. So Heather B, if you please, let's get to it.
Alrighty, so bear with me, you guys. This is actually the first time that I will be taking the reins tonight for our particular theme show. Tonight, we're going to have a real conversation in regards to the state of the music industry. I know that it's been a lot of things that's been going on within the last, I would say 10 years, even longer than that. But lately, it's kind of been seeming like it's dying out just a bit, probably for specific genres too. So we are going to get more in depth in regards to the ifs, the reasons as to maybe why this is happening. So let's get it started. Now, first question, and I'm just going to start off with this immediately. Has cancel culture highly affected music and its artists?
Everybody don't speak at once.
I'll say this. I'm going to say no, not entirely. Um, Cancel culture is kind of fading out a little bit. A lot of people. It's kind of one of those things where somebody say something, you get a whole rah rah rah, something else happen, and that fade to the back. So I would say not in this entirely, because you do have some fans that still gonna ride with the artist regardless.
Good point. I'm gonna say I think it has because because artists can't be an artist. They can't speak how they feel without wondering if this particular word or sentence is going to get them canceled at the end of the day. I think cancel culture has taken the artistry out of a lot of things we know and love, like just a kind of sidebar, like comedy, for instance. Like you can't tell a joke anymore without saying the wrong word that's gonna possibly get you canceled at the end of the day. And they say that the First Amendment is freedom of speech. So I believe cancel culture is taking that amendment from you when it comes to it.
I mean, for me, I don't think it's stopped. I think it's still very much something that does happen. I understand what Pud said in regards to like people are still gonna worship the artists that they love no matter what. Like they can do. I mean, we have plenty of examples that definitely show that right about now. But that is actually for a different question. But specifically, it may not affect we may not see it being effective, but in certain instances it does. Like for instance, I'm going to bring up Daniel Caesar as a big ass example. Well, one of the bigger examples. He literally told people because he wanted to have the back of one of his friends that were being very disrespectful to the black community. He literally looked his fans in the face on live and said, I don't care, cancel me. And that's exactly what happened. His main fan base, which was a lot of the black community, said, all right, bet. And his albums after that, they did not see the same success as the previous ones did because he simply said, cancel me. And they literally did that. Now, in that situation, I feel like that could have been more of a teaching situation as opposed to just being like, all right, we're just going to cancel him because you're rocking with this person who clearly does not respect us. But because there's other artists that's done way worse shit than he does and still, continue to thrive. But it is an example of our when it comes down to the fans, their money stretches a lot. And you can't just look your fans in the face and tell them to cancel you and think that they're not going to be like, all right, cool. So I do feel like it's still a thing. Is it strong enough to where it will completely break somebody's career where they'll never bounce back from it? No. Because again, if you have a core fan base that's going to rock with you no matter what, yeah. But you will see a difference between what you used to do and what you're doing now.
I I definitely say like it's a double edged sword with that one. I mean, true to an extent, cancel culture can change like the whole landscape of an artist, but also it boils down to like everyone said, like how hardcore the fan base is. I mean, you have some fan bases that'll go heavy in the pay for somebody, regardless if they regardless if they how could I put this? Regardless of how the fact of how they pretty much pretty much just like stay on the fence, if that makes any sense. Um but but I will say for cancel culture, it I mean it has its power, it has its moments where it is actually effective and you see landscape of the the whole landscape of an artist's success completely change out the gate. Like they really don't see like they pretty much they try to chase the same success before they did what they did to get canceled. But when you when you basically when you basically do when you basically do what you do to get canceled and you have your fan base looking at you sideways, that really makes that really makes a major difference from my perspective.
And also, you know what? When it also comes down to cancel culture, it depends on how the artist responds too. Because it's one thing for you to do something and then you don't address it at all, or you address it and you stand 10 toes, 10 toes down of what you stated. So it just really depends on, okay, I think it also depends on what you're saying, what's being stated too, because there's so many. Let's be honest, we're living in a politically correct world right now. So the most littlest thing people can take out of context. So it really just depends on how you respond to it. Like the baby, for instance, when he made those comments, at his concert in regards to, a certain demographic being in the parking lot, sucking dick, and then following that with a comment in regards to HIV, people were on his ass about that and the type of information that he was pushing out there. And initially, he didn't want to change his mind. He was like, no, I stick to what the fuck I said. I have, LGBT fans that understood what I said, he stood 10 toes down on it. So then people pushed back even harder because it's like, what do you not understand about what you stated that is harmful right now? And then he had to turn around after what, weeks? And then his bag getting cut, him not, making the money that he was anymore with certain festivals that he was signed up, some even cutting him. Then it got to a point where he was like, all right, I'm going to apologize. But by that point, it's like, the damage is already done. So it really also depends on how you respond to that type of cancellation.
So, in my opinion, I think everyone has said the correct answer. It's a little bit of yes and a little bit of no. Um, at the end of the day, though, in my opinion, there's only been one person who has truly been canceled, and that's Kate Michelle. Everybody else has had careers where they came back from things. I think if Daniel Caesar dropped the album right now, I think people will flood to the stores or people will flood to their streaming platforms and find out what Daniel Caesar's talking about. If Kanye has taught me anything in the last 3 or 4 days, he had 157,000 people in SoFi in 2 nights, and we was talking about canceling Kanye West at one point. So that's why I say yes. That's why I say no. I definitely highly agree with Gerald, though. I think that if we look at music as an art and people are now censoring themselves and not able to express things the way that they want to express things, that's how cancel culture has worked in today's modern world. Like, I mean, if Eminem put out an album and be the same Eminem we know him to be when he first came out with Marshall Mathers LP, because he knows that he's going to get extremely criticized by the fan base. I just feel like that's a form of cancel culture. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like no one has like really said, hey, we're not messing with you no more. Besides K Michelle, I feel like she's the only one that's been blackballed out of the space. Again, my opinion, I feel like if Daniel Caesar was to drop an album right now, people will go listen to Daniel Caesar. I feel like the baby's heavily supported in the southern states, or the baby's supported everywhere. There might be a fan base or a community who might not be rocking with him, but like we're not putting the baby out of rap and R&B altogether. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of both. If you're not able to express yourself to the way you're wanting because you're afraid of how the fan base or different social media platforms are going to criticize you, that might be a form of cancel culture. But at the end of the day, I just feel like as far as blackball, I don't think that really happens too much no more. At the end of the day, we still rock with Chris Brown, even after what he did as a teenager has, ruined his kid's life forever at this point. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like we're just saying, hey, unplug all your recording equipment, it's over for you. I think K Michelle's the only one that took that L, but that's just my opinion.
Are you talking about K Michelle or Chrisette?
I'm sorry, Chrisette. Sorry.
Because I was like, who? K Michelle about to be on the new Housewives of LA.
Like, no.
Canceled.
And yeah, Chrisette, I'm sorry. But even the whole controversy with Chili just came out a couple weeks ago. I don't feel like that's going to even be a thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing Chrisette got kind of criticized for. Supporting a certain demographic. We know Nikki supports that same political party, and some people have counseled her, some people are riding with her. So it's not the same. Or it's not how I first kind of interpret cancel culture to be. Like, I think people, because we hold so much, the fan base holds so much power, I think people have will get over it. Some people won't get over it. Some people will rock with them or rock with them. Some people won't rock with them. But at the end of the day, as far as saying, like, you could never put out another album again, that doesn't happen in 2026. So.
And that kind of rolls over into actually a different question that's kind of in the same bracket as cancellation, like specific to political views. Because I think that's also has been a heavy factor nowadays, especially with what's going on in the world of, okay, are my favorite artists in support of me still being here? Like, are even though I love your music, are you in support of a party who does not care for my well-being, or whether if I'm alive or dead? So that is also something to think about, because when you really think about like cancel culture now versus like back in the 2000s, in the 2000s it was a wild wild west. It was a lot of shit that we let a lot of artists get away with, and looking back at it, it's like that shit would never fly today. Because of the social climate, and because of, you know, people just not being receptive to that type of humor, or that type of those type of comments anymore. So do you guys really feel like with the political views that is a heavier thing to carry now when you're an artist?
Now, yes, right now, especially what's going on and who's in office. Yes. Now, back before this man even became sat in the office, no, it wasn't really that big of a deal at the end of the day. But when you're blatantly showing that you don't care for a demographic of people, you don't care about people's well-being, you don't care, who you start, how should I say, fights with, and who you basically, you just broadcasting your hate to the world at the end of the day. And when you come out and you blatantly say, yes, I support this person and I support their views and everything that they say, yes, it should rub the fans the wrong way, because they're blatantly showing that they don't care whether or not, if your family is here, if you're here, if anyone you love and care about is here, because if they're in support of the views that are being shown in presidential office at the end of the day. So yes, I believe now, because of who's in office, yes, it makes a real big difference.
Do y'all feel like it's more expected for someone to come out and say something in regards to, things that are going on in the world of that nature? Like, are we putting, is it right for us to put that type of pressure on artists, or do they just need to remain artists?
I don't think we should allow people to. We as consumers shouldn't put that pressure on the artists at the end of the day. At the end of the day, like how someone may view political, religious, uh, lifestyles. Like I don't think we should actually put that pressure on artists to really like conform to a way of how we think. At the end of the day, if someone wants to be in a certain community, that's their right. If someone wants to vote for a certain political party, that's their American rights. If someone wants to worship a certain religion, again, that's their rights. At the end of the day, I think when we signed up to when I download an album, when I download an R. Kelly album, I'm listening to R. Kelly. Now, what Robert Kelly do on the other side, again, I'm not rocking with that guy over there. So what he do in his bed, what Diddy do in his bedroom versus what Diddy doing on a track is two different things. Now, at the end of the day, we do notice that it does come to a merge, because at the end of the day, now we have put both these men in jail. I shouldn't say we as us, but the world has put the United States has put these men in jail because they have committed crimes. So now we are looking sideways at their music. But at the end of the day, I don't, it's a slippery slope, because I don't agree with what they're doing outside of music. But as far as what they do on music, there's some music geniuses at the end of the day.
I do agree with that. And I agree with what you're saying. It's like at the end of the day, you're gonna choose, what your beliefs are. It's like, who are we to tell you what you can and cannot believe in? But then with doing that, understand that everybody's also not gonna rock with you. You may
Yeah,
like
but it's a slippery slope, like you said. It's
mm-hmm.
definitely a slippery slope because people pick and choose. It's okay for this person, but it's not okay for that person. So it's definitely a double edged sword, because it's not fair all the way across the board when it comes to it. You're like, oh well, I can listen to this. Oh, I don't support them because they do that, but it's okay if they do that. So it's one of those things where it's definitely that slippery slope, because we pick and choose what's okay and what's not,
Right.
instead of giving it just straight across the board.
I think that the funny thing about it is, like, going back to what Aaron said, I don't think we put the pressure on them. Like, I think that people just come out and just blatantly say who they're supporting or who they decide to protest with or whatever. Like, if they was to keep their comments and their opinions to themselves, they probably wouldn't get blackballed, and you probably wouldn't even get looked at twice if you would just stay out of it. But the fact is, people want to jump on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, Facebook or whatever it is, and blatantly say that I support this person. This person is the greatest president, or this is the greatest demographic of people ever, or this is this, and I don't like, using derogatory terms for a certain demographic of people. That's the part that where we as a pe- we as a nation get involved, because it's just the blatant disrespect at the end of the day. But if you was to not say anything, we wouldn't know.
Okay, but here's
That's
the
only.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say this. You gotta look at it like this, because we always want to put an artist on a pedestal. They're human at the end of the day, and they have the right to pick and choose who and what they want to say. Unfortunately, because they have a light shine on them, it looks even worse. But at the end of the day, you got regular people doing the same shit they doing. The only difference is because they are a celebrity, it looks worse. Because
True,
you
and
got
Agree with
go
that.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
because you
Definitely.
got so many people now, because 45, 47 and made it okay, that they are saying shit that should not be said. But they've thought it all along. And then he come in office and they feel like it's okay to say that shit.
But then,
Unfortunately, we look at it and go, oh, now da 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 da. They've been saying it for so long, but now they're able to say it out loud and proud and think there's no consequences behind it.
and I
Yeah,
think
he
that's
based.
what. Oh,
They,
sorry. My
I
bad,
know.
H.
I know. I was gonna say he basically gave the okay to be how they are today. Like ever since he got in office, it's pretty much been free range for people to come out and be absolutely reckless with what they say and what they do. So I I I guess it boils down to, like, the real question is, have they always felt this way before he got into office? And if
Absolutely.
and if and and if so, did he basically give, like, free range for people to come out to say that they felt this way before? So it like like it was said, the artist is pretty much human, like like the rest of us. I mean, they are entitled to feel how they feel, don't don't be surprised if people is gonna be voicing their opinions just because of this is how you feel about politics. Because people is gonna be vocal about it, and they will cook you.
Well, let's just be honest. This particular election, it wasn't about being one side or the other. It was about being a person or being inhuman at that point, because all of the views of the people the that are in office right now are basically giving us inhumane conditions at this point. And to come out and say that you're going against, or no, to say that you're with this person knowing that he goes against everything that is humane, is basically a slap in the face, to where when we're the ones who put you in celebrity status, we're the reasons why you got that house, we're the reasons why that you are able to sell out crowds everywhere, because we're supporting you at the end of the day. And for you to just say, and even a certain demographic of people, for you to sit up here, and then it makes it even worse when you're that demographic of people at the end of the day. So that's what makes it worse. It ain't the fact that they're speaking about politics. It's the fact that, like I said, you're blatantly showing us that you don't like being you at the end of the day. That's when it takes a different toll, my opinion.
I think
And
also
also,
oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
My bad, Meech.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was also going to say, like, I think that's also probably why a multitude of artists remain quiet as well. And I know people also will take that like, oh, so you're just not going to say nothing. But it's like, you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of a situation. Because is no matter where you fall in regards to what you're aligning yourself with, you're going to isolate people. You're going to isolate a certain amount of people no matter what. So it's some artists that just like, fuck it, I'm not going to say anything about that, and I'm just going to let it just be the focus of my music. But then it also kind of runs into a thought of how they'll tell football players like just shut up and play type shit. So in a way, it's like you'll have people that are like, keep your political things out of music, keep it out of that. It should just be about this. But at the end of the day, through years and years since music has been popular, people have expressed themselves of what they believe in and things of that nature. So are we telling people to just stop putting their how they feel into the music just so to keep some sort of balance? Like that doesn't make any sense to me either. So I'm still saying, no matter if you're standing with the side that's majority of us don't agree with, it's still you standing for something that is a representation of you. So again, you still have to deal with the consequences of whether or not if people are going to rock with it. But at the end of the day, if that's what you're choosing, then that's what you're choosing. And I feel like if you remain quiet, that's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's
cowardly.
Yeah, there we go. It's cowardly. It's like, even though you align yourself with that fucking political party, at least you're sitting here opening your mouth and saying it. Like, that's the most that I can give to you for that.
I don't have to, like, I'm pro-black, but I don't have to walk around with an afro and an afro pig talking about I'm black and I'm proud every day either. So at the end of the day, like, what I was gonna say earlier to Jay was, it's not always the fact that they don't always come out with their political views. It's sometimes I might get an invite to go perform at the inauguration, and you guys are down my throat for this for performing at the inauguration. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, my job is to perform and to get paid to perform. And if someone's paying me a check to perform at the White House for someone's inauguration, I think it's kind of wrong that we sit there and judge them because they're only doing what they've been doing their whole life to get paid to do. It's almost if I don't think we necessarily is right that we judge them for taking a inauguration performance. They're not even saying they're aligning with Trump at the end of the day. They're just saying that, hey, I'm going to the White House. This could be like a once in a lifetime opportunity for them as well. Like, not every single celebrity entertainer is going to the White House meeting the president just because they're a celebrity musician at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, like, I think it's kind of wrong that we criticize them for even taking a bid like that at the end of the day. Not saying that you align with their political viewpoints, but saying that, hey, I'm just going to go, perform and get this over with, and I'm back to my day to day. I know it looks bad from the consumer standpoint, but again, I think that's where, like, I think we need to back off that a little bit as well. Like, if we're going to get celebrated, at the end of the day, every sports team that wins their championship, they go to the White House and they go to the White House and meet the president and all that. And I know they can turn it down and all that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, that opportunity is always there. Now, at the end of the day, but time out. The sports teams don't get paid to go there either. Now, I'm sure they're getting paid to perform at the White House as well, though. They're not performing for free, I don't think. I don't know the facts.
That's also alleged. We don't know that, but at the same time, but my only thing is this, is that they're handpicking people to perform at the White House. It's like, you could, why didn't you, there are certain people who are being handpicked, and especially by 45, 47, in my opinion, because like I said, I just think that the same way that these teams can turn down the visit, so can the artists. If you quote unquote align, if you think that especially it can be a career decision at the end of the day, because
again, outside of Chrisette, who else got that X off their name? Because at the end of the day, Nelly he went to go perform and he's still thriving, right? It was alleged that Snoop Dogg
Is he
was
really?
in the White House.
I mean, yes, Snoop. I understand that.
Snoop is a household name. He went from being just a rapper to a household name. At the end of the day, him performing there or him DJing or whatever he did was not going to hurt him. At the end of the day, just like Aaron said, he went to do a service, got paid for it, and that's it. Now, on the other hand, I probably would have did the same thing, but at the end of it, I probably got kicked out. I would have been playing FDP. But that's just me. I'm just saying.
I mean, personally, I still wouldn't. I still wouldn't.
And that's me too. If hypothetically, if us as a podcast, we got invited to, I'll be like, if y'all want to go ahead, but I will not be there.
Shit.
I'll take your check. I'll take your check.
Hey, take it.
Like the city of Texas, El Paso.
I'm keeping it all the way 100. Take it. Like I matter of fact, when I talked to 45, 47, and he asked me why I decline, I'll just tell him, give Aaron the check. Matter of fact, split it amongst the four.
Meeks won't be there either. Meeks won't be there either. So
no, ain't nobody go. That's it.
Like the city of Texas, El Paso. On that.
Wow, that's new. That's new. I ain't never heard that one. But that was new. Anyway, do we got any comments? No, we don't. We'll go to the next question.
But before we move on to the next question, I do see that we have a couple of people who are watching. Definitely participate in the conversation. Would love to definitely hear your thoughts in regards to the questions that we're asking. So
come all the way in. Don't just watch from the outside of the page.
Just go ahead and drop off your comment, even if it's
okay. We don't bite
anymore.
Wow, anymore.
I told you that in complete confidence.
Meeks used to be an ankle biter. You come in here and Meeks bite on your ankles.
Whatever, Riri.
Well, hold on. So we got one comment. She says, "Hey y'all, how you doing?"
From Miss Taria Ray. Mm-hmm. Hey y'all, what up, TT?
I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all supposed to be reading the comments. I'm so used to
it. You can run the whole show. I can give two shits. I'm answering questions.
Alrighty. Next question. Do you think artists are scared to release music in the modern age?
No, I don't. Because people still release music, but I mean, if there is a fear, it's because they can't keep up with the times. They can it's a word I'm looking for. They can it's a word I'm looking for, but they can't keep up with the times at the end of the day. They can't keep up with today's music. So they would, as a fear of not selling or not being able to reach this audience, they probably have a fear of putting out music. But I don't think it's. But then you got some that don't care and they still rapping the way they rapped when in '96. So
it's funny because I think I already know who you're talking about when you said that.
I doubt it, but
absolutely not. When you got the old heads coming back out with new shit. When you still got these rappers that the shit don't make no sense and they doing all this mumble rap and they still bringing the shit out. Because guess what? There's always somebody that's going to listen to it.
There's somebody who appreciates it. There's
somebody that's going to listen to it. Whether I don't like it, you don't like it, somebody like it. At the end of the day.
Push me, because I'm close to the edge. My nerves. Still rap like that, but hey. Hey, so somebody who was born around that time still fuck with at the end of the day. So let them do it. If it puts a couple dollars in your pocket, that's cool.
Honestly, I think it's a yes and no. I think it's yes because, like you said, it's still motherfuckers that's just dropping shit off and they don't give a fuck. Because first of all, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Sexy Red, nobody asked for that motherfucking rendition of that goddamn Michael Jackson song. Okay, I'm gonna need you to keep certain thoughts in your head. All right,
Why are you even
don't do that
listening?
shit again.
Why
did
are
you
you even
bring that
listening
up?
to her? But go ahead.
Why did you bring that up? Just
I
why?
hear that.
I just wanted to put it out there. Just let's not ever do that again, okay, sweetie?
No,
Anyways,
no.
So
In
I
other
hear
words,
that.
It's
in other
probably on
words,
your phone. You listen to it in the
in other
bathroom by
words,
yourself. Don't worry about it.
yeah, no.
in other words, Sexy Red, just leave it alone.
It's like
I see what you did
I'm cool
there.
with the little song that you got right now because
I see what you did
Sean
there.
is doing his little shit. But that other shit, no. But I do believe it's a yes and no answer. No, because it has become like really, let's be honest. And this goes into another question I'll ask later. But we are not exactly nice nowadays when it comes
Thank
down
you.
to people releasing music. And we put these high expectations on artists. And then when they don't drop the shit that we think they should be dropping, it's like an atomic bomb. It's just like it just goes off. So it gets to I do remember Cardi before she took forever to drop this album. She even said it herself that she was scared to drop because she didn't know how it was going to be received. I think there was like another interview with Andre 3000 when they was asking him would he, you know, start releasing music again or start rapping again, and he was like, no. He was like, I don't really feel like that's something for me. And he did speak on how music is being received nowadays. So I think it's a yes and no answer. People still gonna drop their shit and have motherfuckers gas them up like, yeah, this shit's hard, and it's not. But then you also have artists that are just like, do I really want to go through the scrutiny of that? Like, do I want to pour my heart into this music just for people to be like, it sucks? Like that's my thought.
I so hope he chokes right now.
You're over there being the Pied Piper and shit.
Nigga.
I was
Don't
playing
say
the
that.
flute. I was playing the flute.
Don't say the Pied Piper. That's offensive now.
Hey, hey, for real.
That was on purpose.
I just called on.
That was on purpose.
You ain't
That
shit.
was on
Right.
purpose.
I was not
that's
calling the
cancel
children.
culture right there.
Don't
Calling
do
the
me
Pied
like
Piper.
do not do me like that. I have never done any Robert Sylvesters, so don't even put that with me.
Man,
I
I'm
was
going to agree
playing
with
the flute.
Heather. I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm just read my notes real quick, but I wrote a lot of artists are more cautious to release music today. It's not always why people think though. I think artists feel more pressure nowadays, like instant judgment from people. So the moment that someone drops something, like we're already judging it of like what's going on. I think the whole social media platforms have now took over like people doing reactions on music, like that has taken like a wave of no tomorrow. So like you go on places like TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, like there's no grace period for anyone nowadays. And we just heard Heather how she just called out Sexy Red. We saw how Gerald was over there playing the Andre 3000 flute. I didn't say that. I didn't say the other one. People are feared to becoming a meme. So we talked about Afro Man on the last show and how he called out Nicola Lisa like that. So again, people are going viral for the wrong thing. So I think that's another reason why we see our legends. We see our legends like Genuine going out bad with the whole same OG. I think is my computer okay? All right, cool. But yeah, another thing is algorithm nowadays. I think that if you're not plugged into the right algorithms, like I don't think you might think your project can be like amazing, but if you're not plugged into the right algorithms, your music won't be heard. So I think as far as like where it's being streamed at, where your playlist is at, if it's not on the right place and not being pushed by the right platforms, then you can have the greatest project ever, but it ain't going nowhere.
Especially if it's pushed to the people that don't listen to that type of music.
Absolutely.
Because we definitely have a different taste.
On the other hand, though, I think like people like independent artists, they have more control over all these things. They don't have to worry about a label, so they have more control of where their music goes, um, who hears the music, where they push their music at. There's less gatekeeping from the label. They have direct access to their fans, opposed to like someone have to go through a whole PR team from Sony and things of that nature. So I think it's a double-edged sword. The other thing is like I think people are afraid to drop music the same day another like huge headliners are afraid to put out their music as well. So for example, if I know Jay-Z's dropping his music next Tuesday, no one wants to announce their project saying that I'm coming out the same day as Jay-Z because they know Jay-Z's gonna like rule the role. Yeah. So I
Completely
think
eclipsed him.
yeah, I mean, instead of working together and be like, "Hey, I'm doing my rollout this week," I just think people kind of like, "All right, I'm gonna just drop my project and hope, pray to God, like nobody else, like a Drake or a Jay Z or anybody that's or Kendrick Lamar, whoever you might feel, whoever fears or rules the algorithm. I hope they don't like drop their project at the same time as I drop my project because I know my project's not going to be looked at, opposed to this big headliner. His project is probably going to rule the week. So I think that's the only other fear I see in the industry. But for the most part, it's a yes and no. It just depends on all the little federal, the variables that I just spoke of. But that's it.
You hit a lot of points for a couple of the questions that we're asking.
Yeah.
But
So I know I touch on a lot of things, but
we're gonna still ask you
for sure.
Don't turn me.
I dig that.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be on the fence of yes and no, because if you really look at it, like people are still gonna put out their projects if they regardless if they see any type of numbers at all. Like they feel like deep down inside, like for real artistry, they feel like their project is pretty much they put beyond 100% into their project, and 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 they know that their fan base is gonna either be rocking with it or being completely critical about it. I mean, and I say rocking with it because of what they're used to for the artists that they like, and I also say be overly critical due to the fact of if if they put out something normal, that's not normal by said artists, it is gonna hit the fan base out of left field. Like they really did expect that artist to go this route with the upcoming project. I'm like, okay, this is new. I mean, I may not like it right away, or it may take some time for said project to warm up to my musical taste and appreciation, so to speak.
And because we don't have any comments, that actually will lead me into the next question, which is do you think artists, I'm sorry, how well do you accept an artist stepping out of their comfort zone?
No one accepts artists step out their comfort zone at the end of the day. I think that the moment that artist goes a different direction, he's highly criticized or she's highly criticized on what it's they doing. I think that we ask for someone to keep up with the times and revolutionize their music to be current. But at the end of the day, like I think people don't do a great job on doing that. At the end of the day, like I feel like the moment Andre comes out with a flute album, then we hate him. The moment Kanye comes out with a gospel album, we look at him, we look at him crazy. Like I feel like we don't accept people for going a different direction in their music. So I just think that if we stop criticizing so much, we might see more talent out of these people, or we might see them fall flat on the ass. But I just feel like I think the fans hold too much power at the end of the day, because again, we don't allow them to express themselves in other ways. And again, I'm not rocking with the flute album, but at the end of the day, like I feel like we could have got one or two tracks of that, plus we could have went back to the old Andre at the end of the day too. But I feel like because we are so vocal and we criticize so much about them stepping out their comfort zone that this is why they don't do it. This is why we still got clips today talking about the same, dealing drugs. Like I don't want to hear old man, the old man clips talking about selling drugs no more. I don't want to hear gang talking about gang banging no more. Like, bro, you older than me. Like, where is the growth? You know what I'm saying? So I just think that because we do have opinions and because we do criticize so deeply, I feel like they're not really allowed to like step out their comfort zone and do something different. Really,
It's kind of crazy that you said that about us wanting
I'm gonna
growth.
say this.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, unfortunately, when we like something an artist puts out, we want to keep them in that same realm. And then when they want to step out in something else, we like, no, because this works for you, not realizing that some other stuff just might work for them. And then what we do is we'll get the album, we'll just say, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. And you're skipping over to the first 5 seconds, not realizing that motherfucking album is heat. We gotta, just like we want to grow and change everything about us, we gotta allow artists to do the same thing. And when we allow the artists to do that, and it opens up this new world, we get some of the most amazing music. But we got to stop trying to keep artists in one realm under one type of umbrella, and push them to venture out so that we can see what else they can do. That's why we have the artists who do the rap and the singing together, because it was pushed out. If we keep them under that one umbrella, we're not going to get some of the good music that we got now.
I think also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I believe we push for artist growth and we push for artist evolution as far as their craft is concerned. And sometimes it's in most cases, some people evolve for the better. I mean, they step outside their comfort zone and it's another masterpiece under their belt. And we all appreciate that for the artists that we love actually venture into another area. And and in some cases them step some artists stepping outside their comfort zone, it can sometimes be sketchy, but it's either you're gonna Babe Ruth it across the field and hit a grand slam, or you're gonna strike out. I mean, there's really no gray area as far as them stepping outside what they're used to and evolving as an artist.
I'll agree with that. I agree with all of everyone. What's everyone saying? Um, I think fans, again, like previously, say like fans sometimes has too much power. Um, they even don't want, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to artists, when they're making music, it is based upon what they're feeling at the time and who they are at the time. You have artists that have start off in maybe one of the most depressive states ever, and yes, we've gotten some of the greatest music out of that, but then they move, they get better, they grow, they're becoming a better person, and it's reflective in the music. And you'll hear people be like, nah, I don't want that, go back to that depression. And it's like, that's kind of demeaning to the artist, especially because The Weeknd, biggest fucking example ever, when he was at his most toxic, we got Trilogy, we got, the first two albums or whatever. But when he started moving into superstardom and that shit started reflecting in the music, a lot of the fans was like, nah, take us back to fucking Wicked Games, take us back to House of Blues, like take us back to that shit. But it's, you may not like it, but this is where this person is at this time. And as a person who loves the artist, it's like you kind of have to, respect that. Sometimes it may not be great music. The sonically, you may not care for it, but what they're talking about, even with fucking Brent, His recent album, people were pissed off because it sounded like he's in love. It's like you just want to stay toxic.
But do you think what's the difference when it's them writing it versus them having writers who write the music, though?
That's
because
actually
that changes it.
That does
But
change the dynamic.
They still are in charge. They still are in control of what goes on the album, though. So at the end of the day, like they still have
To a point.
they have what's called a director, and at the end of the day, like there's a lot of songs who won't make the album that was probably written for the album, but there's songs that won't make the album because its placement might not be right. But yeah, they do have a little bit of leeway as far as what makes the album, what doesn't make the album, even with writers. You know, whether they wrote
No,
it
but
or
I'm
someone
saying
else
though,
wrote
do
it.
you think that them getting the songs from the writers and putting it on there as opposed to them actually writing it themselves, the writers change the directive and then they're like kind of like but then there's a person like, well, put it on. You got, especially with record labels, like, no, we want this song and not that song. And so do you think that in doing that changes the narrative and how people think of the music, because it might not be something they wanted, but because the actual label wanted it?
Honestly, yeah. I think it does. Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead. No, you got it. You got it.
I think it does, because the perfect example of that is Pink. That is the biggest example ever. When they first put her out, guess what they were trying to make her as? The fucking the white R&B girly. She's just doing nothing but R&B and that's it. She was a perfect example of stepping the fuck up and saying, look, I'm not about to do this. Like, I want to do my own music. I want to venture off into different sounds. And the label sitting here thinking, oh yeah, you're going to fail. That ain't going to work out. And guess the fuck what? She actually ended up keeping her longevity as long as she did because she made the choice to do that. Let it have been her label continuing to push her in that narrative, Pink would have been gone. I'm gonna be honest. She would have been gone because she would have just had that, again, white girl singing R&B, and she would have faded into the abyss somewhere. So it does make a difference when it's the label that's pushing this particular type of label on you and what they want you to do. I'm not saying that all the time that they're wrong, because sometimes they're right because they want to monetize, they want to make money. But sometimes that shit plummets. So it does add an additional factor, though, when it is a label controlling as opposed to the artist. But then again, it depends on the type of shit you're signed to. It depends on what type of contract you sign. Like, sometimes you can't say shit. You have to do what the label tells you to do. But that's where fans need to look into that shit too, because we'll just be like, oh, this shit whack. Man, what the fuck he doing, or what the fuck she doing, not knowing that they're not controlling nothing. So that's where it comes back to us.
Absolutely.
I believe also I believe also basically what falls into that is the concept of said project. That could also play a factor into that as to why certain songs won't make the cut, because if it doesn't fit like the overall theme, the overall concept of the project they're trying to put out, then of course it's gonna get left to the side and tucked in the vault somewhere, and probably never to be released ever. So there's a whole lot of songs that are left over that could have been masterpieces, but it didn't fit the overall theme of what they're trying to push out.
Jay, let's get your comments out, and we'll head over to the comments and see what they're talking about in the comments. But Jay, go ahead and speak.
Y'all done spoke y'all piece, and I agree with damn near everything y'all said. Y'all shit, there's nothing else for me to say. So let's go to the comments.
All right.
I'm gonna let y'all read it.
No, y'all good. Miss Taria, Honestly, as an artist myself, when it comes to music, I don't have a fear. I understand that everybody ain't gonna feel what I'm putting out, but I've been in rooms with artists who talked about the fear of their music not being heard or exposed to the masses because it's not about quality anymore. It's all about the quantity. The music that excuse me, the music that's being put out right now is more about a quick fix versus sustainability. Not all not all of it, but a lot of it. There's a huge pressure to deliver something that. No shade to the new artists, laugh out loud. Randall Patterson from YouTube is in here. What's going on, brother?
Welcome.
Definitely fans like to keep people in a box and won't allow more artists to explore musically. Petty is in the building from YouTube as well. What's good, my guy? Hip hop is a young man's game, just like sports. In sports, eventually you have to retire, just like in hip hop. Some artists eventually have to let it go.
Damn.
That's a bold statement, bro. Bold statement. Once again, with Taria, to be honest, I hate when people try to put me in a box as an artist. So I don't think it's fair to put any artist in a box. I think they should be allowed to evolve and explore artistically. I honestly feel that the real artist, it's impossible to stay in a box. Most artists are multi what is that? Multi-faced,
Facet.
multifaceted. Okay.
Multifaceted.
So yeah, I was just making sure. So they're going to tap into different things, whether that it be different genres, different art forms, etc. If I'm gonna fall flat on my face because I tried to do something new, so be it. At least I tried it and I know it doesn't work, so I can try something else. Laugh out loud. It's my choice.
I feel that.
Randall Patterson says they would say that the songs they scaled it out to the side wouldn't fit sonically.
That is fact. A
Mm.
label will definitely do that. Sorry, let's go move on to the next question. How do you feel about hip hop? How do you feel about the hip hop community pushing the Supreme Court to end the practice of using rap lyrics to justify death penalty warrants? I mean, my brain. Okay,
I'm gonna say this.
because
I'm gonna say this. If a lot of artists would shut the fuck up and stop putting shit out there, telling on their fucking self, that wouldn't even be a goddamn issue. The problem is a lot of them talk too goddamn much and then want to cry, woe is me, because they use the lyrics for a crime that y'all committed years ago that they could never fucking solve. Keep your fucking mouth closed and none of this will happen.
Or
because you didn't got details of something that happened. You didn't say some shit about it. Now they looking at you thinking you did it. When you had nothing to do with it, you just knew details about it. Sometimes it's okay to not say nothing and shut the fuck up.
But
or it's okay to fabricate, to fabricate around it.
And that's the next point that I was going to get to. Unfortunately, when it comes down to hip hop, everything always has to be so real and so organic and so just like you can't talk the shit if you ain't put in the work. Like it's all of that surrounds hip hop. But at the end of the day, once the shit is put on wax and it's true, nigga, you can't fight that. Like you can't get around that. And then I won't go into because I don't think it really has anything to do with, lyrics being used in court. But even with the situation with fucking Pooh Shiesty right now, you know how many motherfuckers are sitting here going back to his old music and they listening and they're talking about, well, he told you what he was going to do. They're literally using his music to say, well, you see his actions. He been said that he was going to do some shit like this. So what can you do? It's one. It's like
Sidebar. That's his father's fault too.
yeah. But at the end of the day, it's still a way that somebody weaponize your own truth that you put in your music to now be like, yeah, this is exactly the person that you are. So it's like, do you really, you have to think about those things while you're sitting here trying to be real and gangster and all that shit and prove your heart, how hard you are. The shit's gonna come and bite you in the ass too, because now this nigga is headed right back to jail. So it's just, come on now.
I'm about to contradict myself from earlier.
I
But
got
at
a
the end of the
question though.
day,
Do you guys remember?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go. I was just gonna ask a question. It pertains to this though. Do you guys remember that one song that was on TikTok where the guy was singing about somebody
Everybody
being
got
killed
shot.
and everybody was doing this whole thing about it, and it turns out that like the story was true?
Mm-hmm. Biggest
And
example.
that's why you got to keep your mouth closed.
Go ahead, A.
Just to be real, like no one's gonna listen to a Gucci Mane not talk about not selling bricks. No one's gonna listen to Young Jeezy talking about without young Jeezy being the young Jeezy he is. So at the end of the day, I feel like at the end of the day, if you come in the game with a certain persona, again, we're looking for that same persona in a certain sense. Like I don't want to hear T.I. now make music that's not the same type of. And again, I know that contradicts what I just said a minute ago. About having growth and but at the end of the day, it's just like I don't want to hear like watered down soft rap music. I'm sorry, like it's just at the end of the day, like I'm not saying. Again, there is a such thing as reality versus storytelling. So at the end of the day, if you're gonna tell a story, don't go out and don't go out and commit the story you just said in reality. That's very dumb of yourself.
Exactly.
So I think like you just said, if you're gonna tell yourself, you're an idiot. But at the end of the day, I do feel like, again, I think saying certain lines is still a freedom of speech. Saying certain lines is a form of artistic. It's art. It's artistry at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, like I don't want to hear Bone Thugs and Harmony come off now soft and it just I can't imagine certain artists now coming out talking about like I like the hula hoop. What the fuck you talking about? You talking about moving weight. Now you talking about.
I'm sorry. It's just your choice
now you talking about you a hula hoop or
activity. I'm sorry.
Flowers or like you a lover boy. Like no, I don't want to hear that shit. Like get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So
hula hooping is not powerful.
But I'm just saying.
But here's my question though: if a person did come out, quote unquote, selling bricks, living that type of lifestyle and all that type of stuff, and you found out that he was the director of a choir, even if this was his first album, would you care to go back on his second album and listen to it?
Can you say it one more time?
I said, if a person, let's just say Gucci Mane, for instance, like since you brought him up, he comes out talking on his first album talking about selling bricks, doing X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the third. But then you find out in his real life that he's the director of the choir, and he doesn't do any of that. Then would you go back and listen to the second album because you realize that the lifestyle he's talking about is false?
Yes, I would, because at the end of the day, a lot of people for years and years, a lot of these guys who's been in the game have always portrayed a role of not who they're portraying someone else's lifestyle. They're not portraying their own lifestyle. So at the end of the day,
Rick Ross.
I tend to think that. Mm-hmm. I tend to think that it has to be somewhat believable. It has to be somewhat true. Maybe not everything you say in the song is true, but it has to be some form of your life at the end of the day. If we find out that you're a complete choir boy and that you're talking about gangsters and strippers and all that, now it's like, how are you talking about gangsters and strippers and you was at Bible study on Thursday from 5 to 8, and then you talk about you robbed a dude at 7-Eleven from 5 to 8. So it's like you're contradicting yourself, and it makes it less believable. So I think that they would lose fans as opposed to.
But look at Rick Ross though, like we just said it, like this motherfucker literally was After his first album, they put that nigga out there that he was a fucking correctional officer, and people still continue to listen to
Officer
him.
Ricky.
This nigga didn't even really
Right.
like address it. It was just like, okay, yeah, we found out. All right,
And we'll never address it. But guess what? We still don't support Rick Ross.
He actually did address it, though. But another story, another day.
I just, at the end of the day, like, a part of
But
being a
I'll
rapper
say-
is also being an
I'll say
entertainer.
this.
Go ahead. I'll let you get your point.
Go
off.
ahead. We know you got a
There's
delay.
a little bit of delay on your side. So
Yeah, slightly.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you gotta look at it's okay to rap and say you do X, Y, and Z, but I'm gonna need you to be a little bit smart. Make sure that the statute of know all the legal shit that might come with this before you start rapping and saying certain things. It's okay to, like, say, I shot a gun in the air or something like that, but don't sit up here and say you just shot 6 people and killed 10 of them, buried somebody in the backyard, and now they listening to it and they go on word from word and can find the body and everything. Like, no.
No,
This is
and the
dumb.
part that kills me is when they
Don't
be
do
like,
it.
"How did you find the body?"
You gotta be smart about it. That's
Track 6. Track 6. It's called nigga buried in the back. It's called nigga buried in the backyard. So yes, that's what we went and did. We went to go see, and we got a warrant, and we went and looked, and now we got the body.
I'm sorry, I gotta get this one comment out the way because it's there. Because
just do all the comments.
Yeah, do all the comments right now.
No, it was only one, and it was that one. It's giving Gangstalicious. You're absolutely correct.
I'm a Thugnificent fan myself, but okay.
Oh, this
I believe that they
Just
They-
mad 'cause your ass is
it's
on.
basically because they work so hard to try to portray a persona. I mean, it boils down to seeing other people portray a certain persona, and it's basically like, oh, it worked for them, maybe it could work for me. But little do they realize that there's a whole lot of legal shit that goes along with that you might not be mentally ready for. And if you ain't ready, and if you ain't ready to face said consequences, then bruh, to use the old cliche saying, don't quit your day job, my guy.
Ouch.
I think a lot of people put on a persona or put on a facade, and they may evolve into that person more and more as time goes on. But it's almost like seeing a rapper come out with maybe only one tattoo. Next thing you know, he got a face tattoo, he got a full sleeve. Like you basically you made yourself into this person that you're portraying yourself to be, because now this is the guy that you want to move forward with. But before that, you didn't have the tattoos. You might be from the city that you might be representing, but at the end of the day, like, you wasn't out there in the trenches. You wasn't getting put on. Like, how you come? I'm not talking about. I don't want to throw out any particular name, but how you come from Virginia, but now all of a sudden now you're blood from Compton. Like that don't make any sense now. Or how you you grew up in New York, but now you banging 60 Crips out of California. I mean, I'm not saying no names or nothing, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, but I
think
You're not calling all names. That's not what you're doing.
no, because we're not doing that, because I even support some of these artists at the end of the day. But I'm just saying, like, over time, like, you was a nice kid from Virginia. You was a good kid. Over time you developed this bad guy name. You know what I'm saying? Or you wasn't always, I don't say now you little tiger. Like, now why are you gang banging? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, I went too far now. See what I'm saying?
No. I just said wow. That's all I said.
A little bit of a closer.
So what you're saying is a lot of
Damn.
these artists are starting to believe the lie that they're telling, so they have
At the end of the
to.
day, but like,
He was gang adjacent.
they're paying the gains that they're representing at the end of the day. So it's just like, if I know you're not from California, how are you gang? Like how are you banging this gang that is from California? You know, like who? Again, it's just I think over time you can morph into the person who you want to be. Yeah, you know, it doesn't always have to be like, oh yeah, I'm this. You know, it doesn't have to be I grew up like this. You know, it could be someone that was probably part of a choir or is a PK, a preacher's kid. At the end of the day, that's out here doing the worst of the worst. You know, talking about killing folks and all. You know, you look at Kirk Franklin's son, prime example. You know,
Hey,
although he's not a rapper or he's not a singer, but I just think that you know people you think they
But
have a certain
however,
lifestyle.
but however, he drank, he smoked, and he
He
told
told
that
that.
iron. Anyway, go to the comments. Go to the comments so we can get home.
all right.
Randall
Kodak Black.
Patterson, Kodak Black. Next.
Another good example.
Soldier
Soldier
Boy, tell him.
That's another great example. Like, you know,
Drake.
And in real time, that nigga was proven otherwise that he is Soldier Boy is not known in the hood in real time.
yeah, he's the
Why
first
would
one
you
to be.
think? Why would you think he from Mississippi? Why would you think he be known in the hood? But anyway, continue. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. All right. Okay. This one, I think I want to ask this. With three major companies like Sony, Warner, and Universal Music Group controlling damn near the entire industry, can artists really thrive?
Yes. There are a lot of independent artists that thrive out here independently as opposed to going behind the machine that is Sony or whatever the other record labels that you name. That's why I think a lot of these kids and these new artists, they go independent because they don't want, because of control, because of the controlling factor of the situation. They want creative control at the end of the day. And they, going back to the couple questions ago, or the couple questions ago, where everybody was saying that, you know, certain songs didn't make the album because the label didn't like it or whatever it is. They don't want that. They like, no, if I want to put this out, this is what I'm putting out, regardless of who. And as it was said in the comments, if I fall flat on my face, I fall flat on my face. It's not because I didn't try, it's because that the fans didn't like it at the end of the day. So yes, that I believe there are, like, God rest his soul, Young Dolph. He was thriving without a major. And he said it in multiple interviews that, yeah, people have offered me astronomical amounts of money to do everything, but if I'm able to do this myself in the course of some years, and have all of the creative control and all of my money to myself, to where I'm not splitting it to where they trying to give me a 360 deal or something to that nature, why would I sit up here and not even on the fact of selling my soul, but give these people my masters and they can have control over me, when I can just build up the fan base and build everything through hard work at the end of the day?
I think I'll actually roll those two questions together, because there was another question saying, do you think independent artists have it harder or easier when it comes down to creating an album and getting a fan base? So do you feel, so you answered that, but you guys can answer the questions together as well, because they go hand in hand.
Be perfectly speaking, it's not really difficult for independent artists to put out music, because they already have like already set fan base, a set fan base that already rocks with their music to the core. And honestly, you see more independent artists thrive a lot more than these artists that are on this that are in the conglomerate of the labels that actually control the whole music stat the whole music atmospheres, like Sony, Warner, and Universal. You you see more artists today thriving more because of they basically are staying more true to themselves as far as their music and what they put out is concerned. But but also but also they they believe in their I honestly believe they believe in their heart of hearts in what they put out, and they believe that people are gonna gravitate towards what they put out, and that is what keeps them thriving more. And plus, people is gonna be like word of mouth, like so that also can expand the fan base if you really look at it, because because everyone is gonna be like, oh, did you hear such and such put this out, and then they're gonna be word of mouth, and then that group of people is gonna be word of mouth, and the expansion is gonna keep on going on and on as far as seeing more independent artists thrive more than the mainstream artists that's out right now.
I think honestly for
Can you repeat the
both
question?
questions. Hmm?
She wants you to repeat the question.
Oh, repeat the question. Okay. Which the first one or the second one?
Probably both.
Oh, I'll do both. Oh, the
Most
first
like
one.
most likely, but oh, never mind.
Did the first.
Alrighty. With three major companies like Sony, Warner, and Universal Music Group controlling damn near the entire industry, can any artist really thrive? You thinking about
I didn't know
it?
she was gonna say something. That's why I didn't say anything.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I think so. Okay, I think so, and this is the reason why I say they can't, because you got to look at it. If it's an artist that has a really good fan base, them thriving is going to be great. Chris Brown is an example. He's a major artist, but the shit that he does as far as music is concerned, then he's got his art, so he's thriving very well. Um, it just really depends on your actual fan base for that. And then for the second part of the question, um, if you know how to push your music on the right platform, it won't be hard. It won't be hard at all. Um, and when in pushing it, you got to look at how you push it, what you use to push it, where you putting it at. And a lot of times, a lot of music is just discovered because they were used as a snippet on something and it had a catchy hook. So it just really depends. I don't think independent artists have it hard, unless they just really not pushing their music the way they should in order to get the fan base that they need.
I'll agree with that as well.
Yes.
I agree with everybody so far. Um, I think with the three majors, because I really didn't realize like how much these smaller labels have completely disappeared. Like when you really think about going back in the days, so many labels were around and were just signing artists left and right. And to realize that Sony, Warner, and UMG have like gobbled up so much of that shit that they really are in control of a lot of the music that we hear. Like, I think that's why the whole, I hate to go into this, but the whole thing with Drake and, Kendrick and the lawsuit and all of that, like people did have points in regards to UMG being behind the scenes and controlling other aspects. However, with that situation, that was one of those songs where it grew organically. People actually liked it, so they pushed it. Like people were playing it constantly on their own. So it's not to say that people still can't get their music out there and it get pushed organically and it grow an audience, without the the machine, but it doesn't take away that the machine is still controlling a lot of that shit. So it really just, like Put said, it depends on your hustle. It depends on the product that you're putting out. It depends on if it's going to grab people's attention like that. So both can be right at the same time. I think independent artists can thrive. They still have that opportunity, but these big machines are still in a huge control of that as well. Still,
There's very few independent artists that actually went huge without ever going to a label first, and I think that. So, to give an example, LaRusso out of the Bay, he never signed to a label ever, and there might be people out there who still don't know who LaRusso is, but at the end of the day, by us being on the West Coast and he from the Bay, we see a lot of his stuff come down here all the time. Um, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's easier for an artist to sign with somebody first, then try to go independent after that. For example, Nipsey Hussle, he was first signed to a record label, and after that, he started his own record label to become an independent rapper. Um, so I think it's another example is like Frank Ocean as well. Frank Ocean was signed with someone, then went independent after that. I think it's much easier, in my opinion, if you start off with a record label, or if you, you start with a record label, then try to go independent after that. Just don't, sell your soul and lock yourself into this deal that's going to keep you locked in forever. But I think there was also a shift in the industry at one point when people are starting to sign just only distribution deals. Um, so I think distribution deals kind of save people from even signing to record labels as well. But I think that when you're not signed to a record label, the thing that the upfront cash that the record label will offer you is not available to you. So the money to roll out a project, the money to go on tour, the money to to support a project, that money's not there as an independent artist. It's all based off of the money you might generate on YouTube. Maybe you out there on Crenshaw and Slauson selling CDs for $100 out your trunk. Maybe you're somewhere in the Bay, pulling up the people at the light talking about, hey, I got this new E40 two short album. I think that's the real sauce of independent artists right there. But again, I think they all had names with record labels before doing that type of stuff as well. Um, again, there's very few people who, who don't go that route. Again, like LaRusso, he never had a record label prior to him ever going big. Or again, like Frank Ocean, I Heather, did Tyler Creator sign to a record label prior to going independent afterwards? I think he had. I think he had a record label when his first album rolled out, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was with Interscope.
Not Bastard, Goblin. Goblin
Okay.
is what I believe he signed, if I'm not mistaken.
What about the Orange album?
Flower
was
Boy,
signed.
he was definitely,
Yeah.
he was definitely
So
signed.
again, I think it's more beneficial, in my opinion. And again, I'm not stopping any artist from doing what they want to do. But I'll say, in my opinion, it's easier to go independent after you have, something underneath the belt, have a money in your pocket, got a fan base built up for yourself. Then try to go independent is much easier opposed to coming out independent without the go. Because again, if you don't have the fan base or the money capital to support all your projects, then it's going to be a hard climb for you. But it's not impossible either, because we have seen people come out and actually like really do it as well. So,
And just going back to what you said about Frank Ocean, that was the coldest way to get out of a motherfucking label contract. He will go down in history for that shit.
I agree.
But before we get to the next question, we do have a couple of comments.
Randall Patterson, CB is a blood allegedly, of course.
Emphasis
Also
on
saying
allegedly.
that it's not difficult to out.
I think he meant put out.
Put out music.
Get out music, but it is extremely hard, whatever that word is, to find a fan base. What is Anyway, even Kendrick needed the backing of Aftermath and Interscope for Good Kid, Mad City. Hmm, it's a
That
good.
is,
It's a good point. It's a
and
good
the
point.
fact that that is still sitting on the Billboard charts now is crazy. But let's see. Sorry, y'all. We should have been ready. Has streaming highly affected how we ingest music? Has it highly affected how
Absolutely.
we take it in? I will
Absolutely.
agree.
Because we got it right at our fingertip now. We got it right at our fingertip. We don't have to wait for it to come out and go stand in line and get it from a store or say that it's sold out and you trying to look for it. Everything is right there. Everything is right there. So yeah, I personally love it because I don't have to be searching to see who got what. I can just download it to whatever streaming service I want and listen to it.
I would say if anything, it's become more easily accessible get get the music, rather rather it be like back in the day where you could just go and pick up the hard copy of a CD or cassette tape and whatnot. You could basically you could basically access that from anywhere, and you don't have to go through you don't have to go through like the difficulty to listen to the album, if that makes it if that makes any sense.
Honestly, I think it has highly affected it because of its immediate access. And to be honest with you, a lot of people keep talking about how all we have is single artists now. All we have is artists who produce great singles. They don't produce great bodies of work. Well, with the streaming and like with streaming, nobody is they're not appreciating a great body of work anymore because they can just simply go to the album, click on exactly the song that they want, add it to their playlist, and then that's it. So they're not even wanting to support that idea anymore. Like, remember when you used to have fucking CDs that you could play from beginning to fucking end, no skips whatsoever? We really don't have that anymore. And also, we're not putting foot to ass for motherfuckers to produce that type of shit anymore. Again, it's just a way of getting something into the algorithm, watching it, build up, and then it runs out of gas, and then that's it. There's no longevity, there's no nothing. It's just put something out there so a person can sit here and stream this shit, and the shit get 80 billion streams in like 1 week or some shit like that. It has nothing to do with the work and just the energy that an artist is putting into a full ass body of work anymore. It's just let me get that single and that's it. Anybody else?
Give me 1 second. I want to look up something. I want to fact check something before I say my next comment. So, Gerald, you want to get your
Checks.
Gerald, you got something to
What are
say?
you fact checking?
I'm about to say I honestly have nothing to say on this, but like I said, I'm just gonna say I do miss going to Sam Goody, being able to listen to snippets of the album before I bought it, and I don't think, I guess the how should I say, the streaming aspect of it has taken the fun out of music at the end of the day, because it was a certain point in time when we knew somebody was dropping, we would bomb rush stores to go get the hard copy of it, and we would, and it actually did put a battery in their back in order to make good music. Go ahead.
What did you
Um,
fact check?
no, I actually just want this. I would just say this. I think I want to agree with the professor to say that it's oversaturated. Streaming has made the music business too oversaturated to the point where like everything is at your fingertips at a matter of seconds nowadays, and it's I don't think it's always beneficial. I just think that it's crazy. What I looked up right now was Bad Bunny was the highest streaming artist last year of all of 2025. And at the end of the day, like before the Super Bowl of this last Super Bowl, I don't think I might have heard a Bad Bunny song, but I don't think I heard a whole Bad Bunny album before. So it just goes to show you that, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Bad Bunny doesn't even have a full English song like from start to finish either, does he? Like
No.
most of it's in Spanish or Latin. I want to be politically correct. I don't want to misspeak.
Most of it is in Spanish.
Okay, so I just again, that's just another example just to show like streaming's worldwide. It's not just a U.S. thing. It's all over the world. So just having things at your fingertips at all times, it just it's fun, but it's not fun at the same time. Like Jay said, I do miss going to Tower Records, Sam Goody, all your record stores, Aniba, if you don't know anybody's going down there. But it's a different game now.
But it's also a bit of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, the only thing I was going to say was it actually has been a bit of a reversion lately. Like you notice, everybody's starting to get they're starting their vinyl collections. They're going back to CDs. They're going back to because even with the idea of looking for vinyls, like right now we're about to start our collection. My mind is going straight to what albums can I play from beginning to end. It's not even just about me grabbing some shit just so I can say I have it on vinyl. No, this is actually going to be some shit I'm going to play. And once I put that needle to that fucking vinyl, it's going to go all the way fucking through. So it's just having that feeling of having to hunt down shit again, like Jay said, it kind of ignites something in me again about really, really loving music for what it is, as opposed to like, yeah, I like the song, let me just grab it. Because do y'all remember even CD singles?
Yes, I remember record singles too.
Singles with the
vividly
sample songs, like the little snippets, so you hear what else was going to be on those albums.
I'm about to say there were songs that came out on record that didn't make the CD, or it was songs that there were certain versions of a song that only came out on record. So that didn't come out on a CD. And there are a lot of aspects to it, but going back to what you were saying, it's only a chosen few that's gonna go to that type of extent nowadays. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's cool that you're getting into it, but everybody's not gonna go out and quote unquote search vinyl. They may search CDs if there still are CD, Tower Records and all. If those stores are still around to a degree, I mean, you can probably go to Walmart or Target or something like that and find something here or there to get a CD. But yeah, everybody's cool. Well, not everybody, but most people are cool with being able to know when it's coming out, download it, and have it at their fingertips, get they listen in, and let it be that at the end of the day. But
I mean, even to the point now, like because people are collecting vinyls again and collecting like the physical copies, that they're doing pre-sales and them bitches are selling the fuck out. Like Tyler, for instance, when he released Don't Tap the Glass, that fucking vinyl was already sold out before he even dropped the album. So people are moving back into that.
But at the same time, if you pre-ordered or bought it, doesn't matter if the music is good or not. You bought it, so it doesn't really matter. So the sale has already been made at this point.
That's true. Yeah, you have a point there.
Anyway,
I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers on how they get paid versus on vinyl versus a string. Well, I know a long time ago we looked up how many strings they had to get to like generate $1 or whatever, but I don't remember I don't know what the exact number is. If you buy like a vinyl versus stream a song, I don't know what that cost is. It seems like when you buy merchandise or when you buy collector's item like a vinyl, it seems like there's more money in the artist's pocket versus, you know, someone streaming the song. So if if y'all watch the verses, if you watch the verses, come on here and Tyrese, make sure you go out and buy my vinyl. You know, he's pushing the vinyl sales. Yeah. So
anybody buy that vinyl?
No.
But however, I did buy the autograph. I did. No, seriously, I bought the autographed turtleneck though. On the way to the house. Yeah. Next question.
Okay, this kind of goes with the album question. Do you think rolling out an album is worth it nowadays?
Say that question again.
Do you think rolling out an album is worth it nowadays? And when I say roll out means like just the build up to the album releasing. So you drop in ads, you drop in, even dressing in character as the album, like just building up to the actual release, as opposed to just here's an album, surprise.
Yes, I think
it depends on the artist.
Interesting. That's actually a good take on it too.
I just think it depends on artists.
It depends on the artist and how much money the artist has put into the project, or how much money the label's backing the artist with the project. Because if we're gonna get a whole Beyonce type of rollout, again, not everybody has Beyonce type money. If we're gonna get a whole Jay-Z type of rollout, again, you got to think about the performances. You got to think about, she puts out a whole visual concept with these things. Like, if it's not giving everyone walking down Inglewood wearing silver or aluminum foil, then no, you don't need no rollout. So I think that or just even Cowboy Carter. I think when it comes to certain artists and how much money that they have in a project, a rollout is required. But if you're not, no one's gonna need a rollout for someone that has little pockets or doesn't have a huge fan base.
I think that I agree that it is the artist, but I also think that everything is timing at the end of the day too, because let's just say with Kendrick, for instance, like Kendrick was gone for X amount of years, not even really dropping no music, not really saying nothing, but then he gets on a verse and attacks whoever, and then comes the beef with Drake, then comes his album. So now it's like, oh, he done put out Not Like Us, so now I know that's gonna be on there, so I want to see whatever else he's working on in order to do. And is it anything remotely as good as Not Like Us at this point? So yes, the rollout, the how should I say, the activities before it as well can also add to the rollout as well. Like, it just depends on, everything is timing at the end of the day, because a person can, like Jay-Z right now, if he was to say that he was about to drop an album, he can drop an album right now at 12 o'clock at 11:50 because it's 4/4, and be like, and everybody would just go jump on it or whatever. And then, because his last album was 4:44. So now it's like, it's just everything is timing, and everything is a creative thought process at the end of the day. When it comes
I think though, Kendrick got kind of pushed into his rollout, because at the end of the day, like, you did win the battle, but at the end of the day, like, I don't think that he had any intentions on dropping another album like that. But just the pressure of now, like you said, like, okay, you killed this guy. Well, not killed him. You beat this guy in the battle. Let's see what else you have in your bag at this point. And I think he just took advantage of it. He rode the wave. He struck while the iron was hot, and that's, again, he made that beef or that diss into a rollout to then drop in his tracks, so, and then he went on to perform damn near back-to-back Super Bowls. So again, he just took advantage of the opportunities that was presented to him, and I'm not mad at him for doing all that. So,
I think it also depends on the type of artist you are too, because, well, as far as what your creativity is, because you have, Like, I'm being honest, if you're an artist that's pretty much gonna be doing the same goddamn thing each and every time, it's like there ain't no need for you to do a rollout. We already know what you're about to produce. We already know what you're about to, bring to the table. So it's like, all right. But you have artists like you said, Beyonce, that will have certain eras that are being birthed. Are I know I'm always gonna do this. Tyler Creator, The Weeknd, Doja Cat, like they
For
have
sure.
there every single time they come out with an album, you're like, okay, which persona are you gonna be this time? What type of era are we, issuing in this time? Like with fucking Tyler, we got Chromacopia and Don't Tap the Glass in less than a year back to back. And one, he had actually did a full rollout before, and then the other, he kind of was just like he started one week and it literally dropped the next, and it was like, oh, okay. So it just depends on the type of artist as well too. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring up the baby, even though it seems like he's trying to be, a little bit different. I still look at everything just the same way. You're always the same. You're always playing the same type of character, just, being funny and, and rapping. It's just, it is nothing really different from each album as it goes. But if you're actually going to show versatility, then yeah, the rollouts matter.
And then anyone that's doing a festival, so your J. Cole's, um, anyone that does like Astro World before that went south, I think rollouts are very huge. Like you have a whole
Hmm.
cultural event that happens that again, you don't want to just not you don't want to have a roll. You have to have a rollout, in my opinion. So
I
I,
mean, I personally think that Kendrick is that's the way he rolls out. He comes on a verse, he disses the same 3 to 4 people, hoping one of them bite, hoping one of them say something, and it just so happened to be Drake this time, and it gave him a rollout. Okay, now granted, I understand what you're saying that not like us kind of pushed him into a rollout, but I think that's his take on everything. It's like he only has a certain it's every time he disses somebody is Big Sean, is Drake, is J. Cole, it's the same people. So
Wait, I'm sorry. Time out. Because Control came out, if I'm not mistaken, before To Pimp a Butterfly.
mhm.
So who did he diss before Damn came out? Because I don't want to say Drake because that's been just ongoing since Control. So that's just been
it
like a back and forth between them, honestly.
it was not so much like this, but it was more like they were saying who's the best MC out of those couple out of those had of names, and basically
Hmm.
he made it known like fuck Big Three, it's Big Me at the end of the day. So I don't think it was so much like a peer, like it wasn't a target in mind all the time. But at the end of the day, he was definitely making his dominance known, saying that no matter who you put up against me, I'm a damn near slay him. And we saw J. Cole backed out of that real fast. We saw Big Sean tuck his tail, which left Drake in the ring by himself for a long time by getting knocked out. So
I mean, but let's be real. Drake was the only one
TKO.
to get serious. Like,
so
anyway,
I am mad at J. Cole for not
because I
stepping
would have
up
loved to
over.
have seen something, see what he would have to say. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's go to the comments.
wait, Meeks, did you answer?
Sorry, Meech.
Oh, it really doesn't. Well, it really doesn't have anything to be. I don't feel like there's really anything left to be said. I mean, I all I'm gonna do is just add on to the fact of like, I mean, as long as artists have like platforms and events that they can showcase the music at, then there's always going to be a rollout of some capacity. I mean, no matter if it's like a small venue or a grandiose venue, their their music is going to get showcased no matter what. And and of course they're going to lead in with the music that everyone knows give it like a live debut of the newer material that they have been working on. So pretty much with them with the music that people know, it pretty much pre warms them up to where okay, I can hit him with this. I can hit him with this one new project or what or a piece of the new project that I'm working on and see how it is received. I mean, it's either going to be a hit or a miss. Either you go if you're going to grand slam it across the field, or you're going back to the dugout and go back to the drawing board.
I feel that. Be put. I don't know if you had said anything. Did you say anything?
Yeah, she was the first one.
I'm
Oh,
good.
I thought she
Okay.
said she was. I thought she was the first one to say something.
No, I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure everybody answered the question. We have two comments.
Randall says album rollouts nowadays are reserved for the majors. Now you not getting no radio interviews or TV ad slots. Useless. You're them.
I believe you meant unless you're them.
Oh, okay.
And Korea. Oh, she is looking through YouTube now.
Okay. So she says, man, I wish there was a way for us to tap in verbally because I have so much to say when it comes to independent artists versus labels. I try to comment, but the chat box said it was too much. Laugh out loud.
We are working on that. We are definitely
We
working
gonna
on that.
keep it.
We'll
We
have
we
that
we
going.
get we getting it together. We gonna definitely get it to where y'all can call in verbally and say what you got to say. Maybe even next time we do something like this, you can be an added incentive.
All right, you guys ready for the next question? Alrighty. Do major artist cosigns matter anymore in the music industry? AKA the Drake stimulus package.
The Drake stimulus package. I quit.
Major cosigns only matter from our legends. If you ain't getting a cosign from one of our legends, it don't mean nothing. And even then, it's still like if you ain't getting a DJ Quick, if you ain't getting a Dr. Dre, if you ain't again, if it ain't someone who's well respected that does more than just rap, they gotta produce. They have to, they have to be multifaceted. If you're not getting one of those type of cosigns, it don't matter. I think. Go ahead, Jay. No.
All I was gonna say was I don't even think like this younger generation would even listen to somebody like a Dr. Dre or a DJ Quick, regardless of who they co-sign or not. It's like maybe our generation would be, we'll take a look at them because we know how musically inclined DJ Quick and Dr. Dre is, so we know that their opinions matter in the music world at the end of the day. So I don't personally think that I don't think any major music cosign matters anymore because it's like okay, like, and then the crazy thing is like even if they did cosign somebody, then you listen to them and then you come up with the idea that this person is not as good as this person is saying, then you're gonna develop your own opinion and be like, okay, I'm not even listening to DJ Quick no more because this person is not as good as he portrayed him to be.
But what I was gonna say, but you get more than we get a call sign from Dr. Dre, get more than just Dr. Dre. You get Jimmy Iovine. You might get Beats by Dre. Like just the connections that you now get or the doors that you might be open to now means more than just, yeah, they might not listen to Dr. Dre, but guess what? Dr. Dre might put you in touch with some producers or some directors or some sponsorships that you might be able to have if you didn't have.
It may help. It may help an artist's career, yeah. But as opposed to the people, no. I think back in the day, being co-signed by somebody had way better leverage
No,
than it will now.
I
in my
definitely agree.
opinion, because going back to your favorite rapper game, that's all he used to say. Dre told me this, Dre told me that, Dre told me this, Dre told me that, and we be sitting up here like Dre didn't tell you shit, bro. Like Dre dropped you after after a couple songs, bro.
Documentary.
So yeah, after documentary. So it was like, so evidently Dre wasn't telling you shit. Then it be nothing. I don't even want to get into him no more. I'm done.
Ooh, why you lie to these people that's my favorite rapper, bro?
Because it is.
But to be honest with you, I think cosigns are I think it's still happening, but just in a different way. Like, usually the cosign would be that this artist is coming out and they're under the tutelage of, a major artist. Nowadays, it's as simple as an independent artist being like reposted on TikTok. And it's like, oh, so this artist notices this major artist notices this artist to enough to where they're going to repost it. Okay, let me go ahead and check it out. Like everything is more social media based now when it comes down to the cosigns, at least in my opinion. Like I've seen a lot of artists go from them having a small fan base to a bigger fan base just simply by something being reposted by a bigger artist.
I think more so is like with cosigns, I believe it gives like an added boost. But if you're really like a heavy music head and you really pay attention to an artist, it really reflects on their artistry and what they're capable of, and if they actually have like a message behind their music. If they don't have any of the elements, then it's pretty much it's like the sword of Damocles with the proverbial question, why are you here? Like what message are you trying to convey to your audience at the end of the day? I'm not I'm not necessarily saying that, cosigns necess- are are vital. I just say they give like a added itch to an emergent artist, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
I,
Um,
I was just it was just when he said the elements. I was like, what does Earth, Wind, and Fire got to do with anybody? But go ahead.
fuck up. You're ridiculous for that. Um,
You
we
need help.
we do not have any other comments, so I'm just going to move on to the next question. Are fans of music becoming too critical?
Of course, of course.
I think that was answered in the other question earlier.
Yeah.
If you really think about
I
it.
think it was.
We're
I,
very
Quite a
critical.
quite
Very,
a quite a
very
few
critical.
questions.
Because
Quite a few questions,
I'm very
rather.
critical. I'm very critical. So yes.
And the fact that we can listen to everything again at our fingertips, like it's no more like, damn, I only got $25. I gotta get this city today. I go out get another city next time. I get more money in my pocket. The fact that Spotify, Apple Music, uh, a lot of these platforms, we get stream music for $10 or less, and some people even got free streaming music platforms. Again, we
right.
get everything right away. So I just think that yeah, we're overly critical because we can hear everything. I don't have to wait, for someone to, or just say I forgot that someone dropped the album. I can get the album in seconds now because I can just pull out my phone and be like, okay, oh, Kanye dropped the album last week. Let me go back and get Kanye's new album now. You know what I'm saying? So
Or even listen to it on YouTube.
yeah,
So it was depends. But yes, I'm
watch
very critical of
watch
music.
watch videos on TikTok. It's everywhere.
It is going back to what you stated about like all the reactions, because even even watching like a lot of like the Gen Zers and the Gen Gen A's, even some a couple of the Gen A's reacting to music that came out maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and their reactions either being like, oh my God, like this is the most best thing I've ever listened to, oh my God, this shit is whack. Like, what is this? Like, y'all were listening to this stuff back in the days, and a lot of those voices hold weight. A lot of those, like a lot of the streamers, they hold a lot of weight when it comes down to music and how it's being digested because they have millions of people who are like subscribers to them. One word of them sitting here saying, "Oh, this shit is whack." Oh, well, if he says whack, I'm done. I'm not even gonna give it a chance. And again, it's going back to that because you're a fan, you feel like you're owed more because you're in support of this artist. So to the point where you can damn near disrespect this artist based on the shit that they put their heart and soul into because you didn't like it. It's like, come on now. Like, I get that if it isn't for the fans, then of course, how their music get out there. But going back to a couple questions ago, you still have to remember that they're human first. And what did Erica say? Keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. There's a lot of artists that are sensitive about, they're really putting everything into this. And for y'all to just be like, ha, whack, the fuck? And it's even
It
loud
is.
because of social media.
And
Because
then
remember,
when
be like regular critics that we used to listen to. Now we just got whatever motherfuckers that's just being, given their critique and probably don't even know what the fuck they're listening to at that.
that's when you said like social media and all this stuff is kind of putting a giving the game a black eye, because you remember back when we were quote unquote buying CDs and listening to music, we used to have like shit like the source, and we would go by their word and be like, oh, they said, oh, they gave it 4 mics. Okay, cool. This is something I can go grab. This is something I can go get. Or, you may see an interview on BET or something like that, to where you get to know that person genuinely, and you be like, okay, I like this person. Let me go see what their album is talking about or whatever. And not to mention the single that they dropped, it may do some damage as well. So
And not to mention, I don't want to jump too deep into this question or deep into this answer because I know this is probably a future question. But we also had different television networks as well, and different television shows that show and display the culture in ways where we might have been like, okay, I like that guy, like Jay said, I like that guy, I like his style, I like his message. Let me go take a deep into that album, or I heard him freestyle on Big Tig in the Basement. And it wasn't even the same. It wasn't even the same music that he had on the album, but just his freestyle alone, and on that episode, got me to the point where I want to hear more. I saw him on 106 in Park. I saw him on, someone's, countdown. So at the end of the day, I just think that also having networks, TV shows, is another big thing about what attracted us back in the day to music and different people, music back then versus now. So that definitely helped.
That's right.
and I believe we are too critical because it goes back to what we expect from certain artists as well. Rather we witness what they put out previously, or like it was said like a few moments ago, like them doing like a certain interview or doing like a freestyle or anything like that. So that basically feeds into our expectations, and when they put out a project that is pretty much, it can either be better, it can either exceed our expectations or leave us in a sea of disappointment because of what we expected for what we saw of them previously. And and it causes us to be have like either the greatest opinions or the harshest opinion if it doesn't if it either exceeds our expectations or it leaves us as fans disappointed. I mean, it's either or.
Everybody answer. Everybody answer. Gerald, you are on mute. Oh, he knows. Okay, already. Well, that brings us to the end of this show. Thank you so much, everybody that tuned in tonight. Because this was actually the very first time that I hosted, I am actually going to swing it over to Jay for his final words.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you to the people who did comment on YouTube and Facebook. Appreciate the love. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing in the comments, and appreciate the time that you take out to come watch us. You know, you could have been anywhere in this world, but you're here with us right now, so we appreciate all the love. Watch. You can get with us on any platform and follow us on every platform, which TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And for final words, don't let nobody control what you listen to. Don't, and be able to think outside the box and listen to certain things. And it doesn't mean that you have to like everything, but just give it a listen and give it a real critique, as opposed to, you know, you don't like one song, then, you know, you just think the whole album is trash. um, and I'm out.
Meech.
Well, I just want to go ahead and say to everyone that tuned in on Facebook and YouTube, we appreciate all types of support that y'all give us on either on either platform, because you give it is your support that gives us the energy to do what we do with every segment. And as far as final remarks, I mean, don't be afraid of your preference in music, and just pretty much be who you are, and be confident in the music that you listen to, because like we always said, music is the soundtrack of life, and if the music speaks to you, then it speaks to you. I mean, no one should have a right say say or program you to listen to a certain type of music. And that's why we always say that music is a universal language. It speaks to us in so many ways that it basically it basically adds on to life as we speak. So be who you are, listen to who you want, and let your music speak more life into you as the days go by. And I'll leave it at that.
Put the professor.
Comments.
Oh, okay. Sorry, she's having technical difficulties. So she says, my final thoughts. No one is immune to the trials and tribulations of life. Be your authentic self, but be careful of what you speak, because there is power in the tongue, and words have power to make or break you. Great final words. Double A.
My final thoughts are: music hasn't changed. The gatekeepers have changed. Where we access music has changed. But music is still made up of the same components that music has always been made up of, which is a beat and someone speaking over it, someone singing over it. So whether your ears have matured to a better liking of music, or maybe your heart resonate with a certain era of music. Music really hasn't changed very much. I just think those who gatekeep it and where we consume it now has done the most changing. Um, just some food for thought. And I am out. I'll see you in the next one.
Alrighty. Before I get my final thoughts out, we have one more comment. Randall Patterson, he says, we literally have YouTubers who do nothing but review albums, and based on what they say, their fans won't even give them an album a try. That is pure facts. I just want to thank everybody again who did comment, who participated, who watched, whether if you're inside, outside. Just thank you so much for your support. We definitely do put a lot of energy and love into the themes that we do bring to you each show. Um, so definitely thank you so much for your participation and your just constant energy that you give us. Um, my final thoughts are this is a show that's very dear to me because music is something that is a huge component of my life and what honestly keeps me sane. Um, it's hard sometimes to look at the industry and what it does to its artists because most of the time they're not even really getting what they deserve for what they put out. And at the end of the day, they are laying everything on those tracks that we are listening to and we're ingesting. No matter if it's truth, no matter if it's fake, no matter if it's whatever the case may be, it is something that they are taking their energy and they're bestowing upon us. So sometimes with us being as critical as we can be for the music, we oftentimes need to remember that they didn't have to give shit to us. They didn't have to share their gift with us if they wanted to. They chose to. Whether if it's for monetary gain or just because they absolutely love the craft, that is still something that needs to be respected all the time. So with that being said, if you are an artist, do not stop because of what this industry is doing to people. If you know that what you love to do is to to provide music and to express yourself through music, don't you ever fucking stop in your entire motherfucking life. You are
Talk
here
your
for
shit.
a reason. Your gift is here for a reason and it is bestowed upon you for a reason. So don't you ever give that up for anybody or any other critic who tells you that you ain't doing what the fuck you supposed to do. And that's on period.
Talk your shit. And with that being said, before we go, I want to dedicate this show to my uncle, who was also a friend of the show. He passed away, and I want you to rest in peace, Unc. He didn't really comment, but he did watch. So I want to dedicate this to my uncle Eric. He passed away last Friday, and I want him to rest in peace. And with that being said, we've come to the end of the music show for Talk Your Shit. And take care of yourselves and each other. We love y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah. Five mics, five minds. You tapped in live. It's that time. From the brain of Heather B. Built a squad, now they out that seat. Jada Rebel on the front line, talk back. UTR when they dig for the real facts. Double A, keep it blunt when he drop takes. Professor break it down like a class, no breaks. Meech come through, whole room lean in. 5 lanes, 1 table, let the show begin. Let's go. It's that UTR, talk your shit. 5 voices, 1 vibe, don't switch. Press play, lean back, feel this. If you came for the truth, that's it. It's that UTR, talk your shit. Westside groove when the theme song hit. 5 chairs, 5 hearts, 1 pitch. If you came for the truth, that's it. Hey. You rockin' with Jada Rebel. Heather B on the vision. Double A the professor. Meet you in the building. UTR. Talk your shit. Stay tuned. Yeah.